Welcome everybody to another video. Izel's Thoughts, another video. Hi everybody. It's been a minute, but I'm finally getting this video done. And as you can see by the title, today I'm gonna do a little story time about my coming out story. For those who don't know, I am part of the LGBTQ. I don't know how many other letters they have now, but all I can say, when I came out, it was just basically LBT. Or was it the LGB? Yeah, LGB. That was it. So over the years, obviously, it's become a bit more inclusive. So today I'm going to talk about basically my coming out story and how I came out. Yeah. So, basically, like I said, part of the LGBTQ, and I came out about 12 years ago. I was about 22. I was 22. Yeah, I remember. I just left home. I just moved to South Africa, and I kind of think me moving to South Africa actually made it easier for me to come out, because, as you know, not every African country is accepting legally of queer people, and my home country is basically the same. So where South Africa has more accepting laws, and basically it is the freedom state or freedom country in Africa for gay people. And when I came here, I was blown away by the number of free people, like the way people were open about their sexuality, and just in general, not even about the sexuality, just in general, being less conservative than other countries. There was just a more of an expression. People were able to express themselves more, and I was like blown away by that, and it made me happy. It made me feel safe, because like, as you know, when you are in a country whereby it's actually illegal for you to be a certain type of way, or to you to live your truth, things become a bit difficult in regards to relations to people. So I've always been a tomboy, never liked dresses, never liked the girly stuff, but because you're in a society that kind of forces you to conform, I did have my girly days. I did have my girly days staying in my mom's roof, because obviously black parents always say the famous statement, if you're living under my roof, you will do as I say. So that's basically what happened to me, is that when I was a teenager, my mom would make sure that if she's buying me clothes, she buys me skirts, dresses, and all that, but I would sneak in a couple of jeans, and I'll never really wear the skirts or the dresses, just unless of course it's church or a funeral. But yeah, those two, church and funerals. And otherwise, every time I would always be in sweatpants, shorts, basketball shorts, jeans. If I went out, I would always be in jeans and a t-shirt. And yeah, so I've always been a tomboy, and my interaction with my family has always been on the masculine, how the fuck you say that word? Masculine side. So meaning, like, if there's a family gathering, I would never be in the kitchen. My happiest place was with my uncles and my guy cousins outside next to the barbecue fire, just basically kicking it there, and I loved that, because I felt like those were more practical skills for me that I liked. But so I was never a kitchen body, and I was the one, if there was a cow that needed to be slaughtered, a goat that needed to be slaughtered, I would be right in the mix. I like the blood and gore. So my uncles and my cousins, the guys, they kind of accepted me as one of the guys and never treated me like I was a girl, basically. And that gave me a sense of belonging within my family and where I stood, because I could be basically free. But that's on the kind of masculine side of me, of how I live and basically the things that I like to do, but not necessarily my sexuality. So I could say around about when I was 13, I was in boarding school, an all-girls boarding school. Shout out St. James. And I had a crush on a girl, like a serious crush on a girl, and I didn't know how to explain it, because she was a friend, but I felt like every time she would smile, like little butterflies in my tummy and all that, and I couldn't explain it. And back in the day, there was really no words or things that you could use to express yourself in regards to how you feel, as when you're going through puberty, all these changes are happening in your body. And I swear, every time she would come around me, I would want to sniff her, like just her the way she smelled, like, would make me happy. And every time she would maybe touch my arm, I would feel like these goosebumps that go all the way to my spine, and I had these urges to just want to kiss her, And I think that's the first time I realized, there's something different about me. And I wasn't, when everyone else was getting letters from boys and all that, I didn't like that. I wasn't consumed for that. I didn't want that. I did get into the mix with the boys and all that, but it was never the same than when I was with this crush of mine. And when I realized that I could possibly be attracted to women, and I think it was the dynamic of when I was with her, is because she allowed me to emphasize my masculine side. So I would carry her books and open doors for her, do the masculine things that a boyfriend would do. And this was school, and I loved that role. I loved making her feel special and doing things for her. And I knew I couldn't get that with the guy, because girls are supposed to be recipients of that type of behavior. And that really shook me, because I knew that with any guy that I would be with, it wouldn't be like that. They would expect me to receive all that, and I wasn't comfortable with that. So fast forward, I carried on with these little secret crushes, and I found that I was more attracted to other girls as well, but I kept it to myself. And then and the worst thing about it, I never had a lot of girlfriends, and the ones that did kind of accepted me as the male kind of guy friend in the friendship. So we will be 4 of us, all girls, and I would basically be the one in the group to kill the spiders and stuff like that. So I was the muscle of the group, and I like that. So after high school, I took a gap year before I went to varsity, and during that gap year, I think that's when I really kind of secretly started exploring. I met this girl, and we kissed, and it didn't feel the same way when I kissed the guy. I had kissed the guy before, and I felt like kissing a guy was more mechanical. It was something to do, to carry on the flow. But when I kissed this girl, my first kiss with a girl, I kid you not, it was very passionate. It really felt real, and I felt things that other girls told me how they felt when they kissed a boy, oh, my knees buckled, my tummy was turning. I felt, and that's how I felt. And that was, I think that was the first time I realized, listen, this is actually, I think this is it. Like, yeah, I'm probably gay, but I couldn't tell anyone because obviously I was in a place whereby telling people that you would get you shamed or kicked out or disowned, and I didn't want that for myself. I think most LGBTQ people know how it feels when you are in a place whereby you are dependent on people, and those people kind of dictate your actions and what you do in life, because they hold the whole dependence over your head and say, oh, if you are like this, get out of my house. I won't stop paying school fees for you. I'll stop providing for you. You can't be like this because I'm providing for you. So I waited, I kept quiet, and I kept it on the low. Kept up with the whole charade of having a boyfriend. And yeah, until I left when I was 21, turning 22. And I came to South Africa. And when I got here, I realized that there was no one to tell me no. And for me, that was a freeing experience, because there was no one to come and ask me why I was doing certain things. So I cut my hair, and because my mom never allowed me to cut my hair, because she said every time I cut my hair I look like a boy, so she always made me keep my hair. So I had long hair, so I cut my hair, and that was the most freeing experience ever. And I remember my first girlfriend here was much older than me. I think she was like 10 years older than me. We met on some dating site. I don't remember. I think it was Badoo. I think so. I think it was. And yeah, it was one of those moments. So I met her on Badoo, and she actually came from Durban, and I actually got on a bus and went all the way to Durban to meet a stranger. Like I didn't know who this person. Well, I did from chatting, emailing, and stuff like that, and calling on the phone, but I never met this person. I went all the way to Durban, and she was a bit butch, I must say, and I was basically trying to figure out what type of. I knew I was attracted to women, but I didn't know what type of woman I was attracted to. So I was open to most of the things. So I was like, you know what? She's a woman though, so let's get it. Not one of the greatest first sexual experiences. I think it was basically the dynamics of the fact that she was a stud, and I at the time didn't realize I was also a stud. And so that whole aggressiveness came together, and it had a bit of awkwardness. There wasn't really a flow, because none of us wanted to submit to the other sexually. So it was a bit of a struggle to figure out who's who and where's where. But I did realize that I actually had my first orgasm with her. So after a long struggle, that is, and I'd never had one with a guy ever, and I was like, wow, this is it. Yep, I can officially say to myself, this is it. I don't see myself being with a guy anymore, you know what I mean? And this is it. So obviously with Durban girl, that didn't work out because she was too aggressive for me. And because of the age difference as well, so I felt a bit dominated, and I couldn't stand that. And yeah, I came back and I continued online dating, and eventually I found a girlfriend. We dated for about 6 months, and then I had my uncle and aunt staying in Joburg, and they were like, okay, I was like, do you want to go for a bride, my uncle's house and all that? And she was like, yeah, sure. So we went to my uncle's house, and I introduced her. I said, this is my friend, and yeah, and my other uncles were there, and my other aunts were there, and so obviously I left her in the kitchen because she kind of gelled well with my aunts. And then I went to obviously my main spot in the Bri area with the guys, my uncles and my cousins. And so my uncle was like, asked me, so what's up? Who's this girl? I'm like, she's a friend. And he's like, she's a friend, right? Or is she a friend? And I was like, she is a friend. And I just looked at them like waiting for them to kind of give me feedback. And the strangest thing happened. They raised their bottles to me. I was like, oh, well done, she's a cutie pie. And I was like shocked. And I was like, wow, I thought you guys would be like, wow, what's this? What are you talking about? And I was like, so aren't you guys like, it's like, no, we kind of know you are gay, man. Like, come on, we grew up with you. We would have been shocked if you brought a guy home. And we'll be like, how is that possible? So yeah, so that was so that's basically the way I came out to my outer friends, my outer family. And then I decided that I wasn't gonna tell my mom, because I really didn't hide the fact of my lifestyle in terms of pictures on Facebook and just in general the way I started dressing. So I would go home and visit, and my whole wardrobe had changed. I started looking more and more like a guy, and she never asked me or questioned anything, but and I figured, she's not asking me, but she can see that the way I present myself now is no longer as feminine as I had before. And she could see the change, but she never said anything. So I figured, listen, I'm gonna call your bluff. If you don't ask me about it, I won't tell you. If you ask me, I'll tell you. So that was my plan. But because of social media and snitch ass cousins, one of my cousins on Facebook saw a picture of me and my girlfriend kissing, and he obviously took that screenshot and sent it to his mom, his grandma or mom or something. And you have that gossip aunt in the family, the one that just pops up on a weekend just to tell you what every other person in the other families are doing. You know what I mean? That aunt. So that happened to me. So she went to my mom and was like, oh, do you know what she's doing there in SA? So apparently she is joining the cult of sleeping with the same sex, and basically outed me to my mom. And so what my siblings tell me, because my little sister was there, then my mom looked at her and was like, so what? She said, so what? And when my young sister told me that, it really touched me, because I kind of figured that my mom knew, and she just wanted me to be me. And this is so emotional. Oh my god, it's so emotional. It makes me want to cry a bit. But that really touched my heart, because I thought she would maybe side with my aunt and say and go ballistic, but the fact that she was calm about it and she kind of defended me, because she told my aunt that, look, she's living her life basically. And it's only years later that I actually decided, about maybe 6-7 years later, she had met 2 other girlfriends after that. And every time I would introduce my girlfriends to my mom, she wouldn't ask. She would come to visit, because I stayed with one of my girlfriends, and she'd come to visit, stay in the guest room, and would have a grand time. So I feel like it was an unspoken coming out kind of situation, where she could see that was the situation. But I needed to make sure that she knows that this is not a phase, and because she would kind of, when we're having conversations, just slide it in there and say, so when are you having kids? And I'm like, soon. It's like, but how are you gonna do that when you don't have a husband? She'll slide little comments like that, and I realized that somehow in her heart she was still trying to process it and hope and pray somehow that I would probably change my mind or something. And I needed her to understand that wasn't going to happen. And yeah, the faster people understood that, the better. So one day she came to visit for a holiday, and I took her for a drive. And I was like, you know what? I just want to let you know that I'm gay, and this is me, and I love myself, and it doesn't change who I am. I'm always going to be your daughter, and just want to let you know that there's some certain things that are going to happen in my life that you didn't think would happen that way. Such things like having kids or getting married and stuff like that. I would like those things to happen, but not in the way that you think it's going to happen. So you will never walk me down the aisle with a guy, and I'll never have a husband. But I do wish to get married, and I do wish to have kids. So that is another part a bridge that I will basically cross when I get there. And then she was like, okay. And she's like, okay. But how do you explain the lifestyle to other people? And I was like, I don't have to explain to any other person, because other people don't matter to me. You matter to me, and how you perceive me matters to me. And she was like, I love you. I've always loved you, and that's never gonna change. So yeah, and that was it. Shockingly, I didn't have the whole bad side of coming out, but yeah, I had some reservations. So that was like a long time ago now, but she still likes to joke around and just slide in the comments of having kids. Now it's just have kids. I don't care how you have the kids, just have children. So that's another bridge, another story time for another day. A prank that I did on my mom. So yeah, so I would also like to hear from everybody else on their coming out story. If you have questions and your stories and how you came out, and like, comment, and subscribe, and share. Please share these videos, because that's the only way we can get this popping. So yeah, that is my coming out story. Easel out.